Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and welcome to my new serpent fleet. My new serpent squadron, actually, as they are, of course, flyers. We're starting a bit abruptly right now because I was just in the mood to start a battle. With these things being so cheap, it is very easy for me to mass produce them and do quite large battles like this, which is really, really odd, it must be said. I'm so used to having a single ship or just 2 or 3 at most, and now here we are with our little legion. Oh, one of the enemies is down, but one of our ships did also take a huge explosion. So, just like last episode, I will be rendering in an odd style this time as well. I will be making a few adjustments from last time, but overall I think it was rather a large success. Most people tended to like it. In fact, the straw poll right now, as of recording this episode, is at 80% positive, and then 15% are neutral, and then the rest, the 5%, are on its worse, meaning that most people prefer it. It's one of the big problems with rendering for YouTube, honestly. You have to take setbacks here or there. It's all about pros and cons, and each form of rendering has its own pro, own con, its own problems and benefits. So, yeah, back to this. Also, I'd like to mention, before we actually do get back to this, I have fixed the scythe. It now has correctly setting torpedoes. The torpedoes will be firing at enemies under a maximum rather than having a minimum setting. I do apologise for that, as many of you did point that out fairly quickly. That's what happens when you're just messing around with an unfinished product and you have heavy dyslexia. You tend to mess up a lot of things like that. Whoopsie daisy. But it's all fixed, so no real harm done. Now, I'm not sure if we're actually going to win here. This is a strength 130 enemy fleet. I should put it out there. But we are doing quite well. I am seeing more and more that numbers do exceedingly well in this game. Enemy AI and even your allied AI, unless very heavily modified to deal with it, tend to struggle against multiple weak opponents. Unless, of course, each gun is on a separate AI with separate settings, so they target different things as a priority. We may still lose here, though, but it's not a massive loss if we do. Then after this, we're going to do a little bit of work on the hull. Now, once again, I have been reading your comments. The vast majority so far wants a battleship, and I think I do too. So that's probably what the hull is going to become. Oh. 2 damage but sustained by repairs still. Ah, someone needs to kill that ship next to him. Also, having the repair tentacles on these things is a godsend. It really is. They actually crash into each other less than I expect as well, unlike the Rotfly, which happen to knock into each other every few seconds. These things are much faster, but seem to have a much better coping mechanism. Oh good, the enemy which is being sustained by repairs now has its ally who's healing. Its AI is now dead. I wish it stopped raining though, everything's really dark at the moment. There we go. Even ground units cannot stop the anti-air ability of the Serpent, which still needs to be renamed. I will be renaming it in this episode, I swear. The missiles are fairly... shields. You see, here's the problem with having fragment warheads the way we do. Shields can actually stop them if they explode in the wrong place, whereas regular missiles, regular explosive missiles, can go through. I also am a firm believer of explosive missiles being slightly better versus heavily armoured opponents. It's just that the fragment warheads tend to do better overall, I find, so... How many have we actually lost, if any? Oh, we've lost none. That's... Really? No, we've lost a couple, haven't we? I need to start bringing up the other AI menu at some point. This is just a nice simplified version, which I do prefer. Oh, 2 of them just got taken out of the sky. But I think at this stage we are just picking on the dead. No, one of them is still firing. No, yep, that is still able to fire us. The problem is they're all going for the centerpiece here. I do need to start using missiles with randomized targeting. It's just so much better. Oh, 2 of them did crash into each other finally. Again, I have not yet set their AI. I may set up sensor blocks, which are control blocks which allow for fancy maneuvers and stuff to happen if that control block senses that it's too close to something. Now, I am actually in the water right now. Is there anything I can steal? I did jump quite early though, I just thought, so I probably am quite away from the battle. Yeah, there's no chance I'm getting... Well, of course I can just spawn on one of our ships. Like, for instance, this one here. Spawn on that and jump off instantly. I don't think I'll be able to get to that before it completely degrades, no. So I could, though, try to make my way to this ship, which is currently in the centre of the battle. By the way, I am still absolutely loving the Serpents. It's very rare that I do planes, so having one that works, even one so simple, is a glorious sight indeed. Wow, I should not be here-ish, I should be somewhere a bit more into the hull. So if I can survive when the enemy goes to 2 damaged or the AI goes down, actually I believe it's when the AI goes down only. Ah, crud. 2 damage and sinking. Nope, nope, nope. Where's the AI? Where is the AI? This is the engine room. Oh dear. Where? Ah, something tells me we're not going to get this. Yeah, health balloons. It's currently degrading. So we need to find it now, but I can't see where it is at all. No, I haven't got a clue. That's not an AI segment. And I fell off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It was an utter victory regardless. So well done, my fleet. So pull. Yep, none of them died. That is actually surprising. But yeah, like I said, this is why I'm going against the White Flyers as the second enemy. We're still cutting our teeth. We're still learning the powers of our fleet, and the White Flyers, although they are very good against certain enemies, they do seem to struggle versus Flyers. Of course, I can only speak from experience of what I've already fought. So, let's get making some stuff with the hull. Okay, so we're back with the hull. Now, what I've decided to do is kind of go half measures. It's still going to be a battleship. It's going to rely mostly on custom cannons, or hopefully entirely on custom cannons, because nothing's quite as enjoyable as the sound and awe of 20 cannons firing at once with medium to low accuracy, because it's just beautiful like that. But I do want a section at the back which revolves around carrying some ships, and perhaps 2 of my lovely Serpents, which still need to be renamed. So, new object. What I'm going to do is we're going to have something on the back here, and it's going to be like an opening set of doors. What do you call them? Bay doors, I suppose, would be the thing to call them. I don't really know, because I'm not hip with all of this. So to simply do this, we're going to put 1 here and 1 there, because I believe this has no true middle point. At least it shouldn't have. Actually, 1 second, let's go back to editing the hull to ensure this. So if I put that there and put this here, this shouldn't be in the middle. Excellent, so there and there. So that wooden block was a spin block, that spin block is a spin block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, and it's all as I wanted it. So let's carry on. Now this doesn't have to be metal because it's going to be open every time a battle's commencing, so I'm actually going to purposely probably make it out of wood and colour it properly later. So all we need this to be is just a seal. Wait a second, this would be worse. No, we've done this wrong. We've already done this wrong. Okay, no. This shouldn't go here, because if this goes here, when it tries to open outwards, it will kind of just go in the middle, so both pieces are in the middle, which would just look really, really off. They should both be on the edges, so that when they turn, they face upwards. Okay, let's do a little test of this then, before we do the full thing, because I'm not sure what would be the best way to do this. I've got a few ideas in my head, and I'm not sure which one is the correct one. So let's just do this for a second. Just to lock that in place. Oh, having this build sideways is really weird because the mouse is locked to the true facing of the spin block. Okay, so we have it like this. There we are. And then we would need a command block for all of these. Well, we'll have to have separate ones because they're going to be turning different ways. So custom, no, not custom cannons, automatic control block, and then we want spin blocks when there is an enemy closer than this much, whatever it is. Rotate to a set degree. So if we wanted to do 90 degrees, what would happen? Yeah, that's actually what I want. So have this at 90 instead. So now hopefully you kind of get the idea I'm trying to do here. So when an enemy's here, these will open up and allow whatever's inside to get out, which will probably be resting here facing upwards or something with a... I'm not sure if I'm actually going to make it part of the ship of a sub-vehicle spawner. I would like it to be a bit more easy to change, so I can have different ships, different planes in here. So, okay, let's turn this off then, so put this back to 0. And back to where you were. Okay, so that's exactly what I want, and we want the range of this to be low. Excellent, so it only controls this one spin block. So let's just do the same to the other side, and get all this set up. So let's see how this looks then. So we need the spin blocks to have the setting to rotate to a set degrees. There we go. Oops, a daisy. Let's try that again with a different range. That one opens up. This one will open up as well. Of course, in the real world, in the real event of a fight, these will both happen at the same time. There we go. Excellent. So these two control blocks will control that, and then underneath we would have control blocks saying the opposite. Well, they'll both be underneath, obviously, they'll both be in here when it's finished. Just right now it's easier for me to access them here. So then when there's no enemies, these will close up after a very long delay, allowing the ships to actually get in there. How much of a delay can you actually have? Okay, you can have it for 2 minutes then. That's pretty good, actually. That'll be long enough for the vehicle to get back using the docking station. So, the one problem, obviously, here is the fact it's not very big in here. So, it may need to be the Rotflies rather than the Serpents. That's the problem. But, that would be absolutely fine. Or we could try and make it an even smaller fighter. So, that's just fine. So, now I'll just go ahead and do the same to the other area. Time to test out a theory. Hopefully this theory will be proven correct. Yes, there we go. So, nice and simple. All I've done is reversed the two spin blocks on the right, meaning that they're now all linked to a single control block, which will be a lot easier to protect. Because honestly, if we are going to have ships or flyers or anything come out of this, because yes, I am tempted to actually have things come out the back here like a submarine or something, there does need to be a big emphasis on keeping this safe, because if this can not make it open at the right moment, or even the reverse is true, we could have things crashing into this wood, which wouldn't do much damage to the thing it's going through, but could cause all sorts of issues of it kind of flinging out at weird angles and kind of going into the water if it's a flyer. Just all sorts of issues we don't really want. So, let's see if we can fit one of the flyers inside here then. That's the big next question. You should always check the size of the plane before making a hangar for it. So yeah, this thing is far, far too big. Even if we were to merge the two hangars together, it would still have some serious issues. So that's absolutely fine. As like I was saying, I was tempted to make a smaller plane anyway, so that'll be a project for another day. I will release this into the wild, I suppose. I've actually just turned off its, there we go. You can go off on your merry way. Its AI is currently off. Let's let it go, and goodbye, Serpent. You can join your fellow flock members over yonder, I suppose, and join that. Actually, no, you could become another guards member for the Scythe, so you can go over there. Because I did need to make them anyway. We're actually currently running out of metal, so what I may do is send the Scythe and its bodyguard to try and deal with this strength at 93, or send in perhaps one of the swarms, like my drone swarm, to see if they can do something about it. Because I kind of want to see the drone swarm versus the... Oh, hello! There's another... Oh, it's a weak enemy as well. What's coming against me? We have a buzzsaw, which is notoriously bad versus flyers, a flayed soul, which I have no idea what that is, and a charger, which I have no idea what that is. So instead, we're going to have another airborne battle. Hurrah! And hopefully get some metal out of that. Well, there we are. So here comes the strength 45 against our current Serpent Legion. Let's see just how well they do. Here's hoping they do okay. So yeah, begin battle with the maximum settings as always. Let's just jump onto one of them as soon as it starts. Oh, that lovely beginning lag. Okay, let's jump onto one at the back, because that'll be easiest just to get off before it randomly destroys us. There we go. Begin! Isn't it nice when there's less enemies and everything's a lot smoother? So many missiles. All going for... Oh, of course, because they go for the hottest point, so it'll be the engine and the... Oh, did that just ram into each other with the drill active as well? That was not great for the enemy. No, completely wrecked that vehicle straight away there. Both of them ramming into each other, of course. Most of the White Flyers vehicles are capable of ramming. There are some flyers which can ram into other flyers, but I find they're a little bit too slow to lock on to a single one of the Serpents. There goes another enemy. What I need to do is make like an Alpha Serpent a squadron leader with more defensive capabilities. Because at the moment, one big problem is we have no anti-missile power at all. Because of course these were originally intended to be the bodyguard of other flyers, which they are still going to be. Just at the moment they're also acting as our fast response units. Oh, am I dead there? Can I perhaps jump onto someone who's close by, like this one here? Oh god, binoculars, go away. Minigun, there we go. Oh, I'm already in the water, that's helpful, I guess. I can't quite... What I could do is make all the enemies focus on the other ship. However, that would require me, leaving this mode. I'm not doing very well at capturing ships at the moment. It must be said. Okay, let's see. You there. I dead. It's already on -6. Yeah, that was pretty much a defeat. So sadly, we actually lost more metal. See, there's the thing. So that's what is making this game a little bit more difficult for myself, is the fact I'm gaining such little resource from fights, and that means healing does cost quite a bit. So I can be worn down quite easily. But of course, that's kind of the point. Let's move these here. I'm not sure why those are all moving back, but let's just move this. Put it there, and then merge these two into a fleet. There we go, so now I have the Scythe and 4 Serpents there as that. I could actually start bringing the Scythe a bit forward, actually, since the Scythe, of course, is one of the leaders. Okay, let's get back to doing some stuff with the hull. So, here we are back on the hull. So I've just made a really basic, simple turret here. And I do apologise again for the camera being a little bit shaky. That's nothing to do with the rendering, because some people did point that out in the last video, pointing their finger at the new rendering system. I completely understand that. I think I would have blamed that too if I wasn't the one actually doing the recording. But there is a bit of an issue currently with From the Depths, where there is a bit of a shake when you move your mouse or anything, and that is being fixed very soon. It's all to do with very poor mouse acceleration. You can't really deal with it properly. But again, that is being fixed soon, so early access games are early access. So yeah, let's get to this. So I've just made a really basic turret. It's quite fast shooting, and it's semi-accurate. The reason is, of course, fast shooting turrets I tend to use as an anti-air or anti-very fast craft, meaning that pinpoint accuracy, no matter how much you tweak the AI, tends to have a higher chance of missing against very fast opponents, whereas ones with, let's say, 1.23 in accuracy tend to have a better chance. So this is going to be on the hull here, or I may actually move it a little bit forward now I'm looking at it in context now I've built it, because I'm thinking about having 3 of these on the deck, 1 at the front and then 2 to its side, and then building up a main bridge here, which will contain a much larger cannon, which will be the main cannon, and then having side cannons on either side capable of firing forwards, backwards, and their respective broadside. So I'm going to quickly armour this thing up and put it a little bit more forward and see how much I like it. So I'm probably going to have this one, and then, actually no, now I've looked again, I'm going to have this one, and then 2 single barrels, 1 here, 1 here, so that we may start building the bridge, which you really need to build soon because this thing is still remarkably front heavy, because of course the front section here has much less space on the inside, so it's less buoyant, yada yada yada, the front's heavier. It also dawns on me that right now I did forget to turn on the scythe, and thus this was moving at less than 1/10 of its normal speed. Okay, let's get this back here, and back into a nice protective stance, so we've got all the area over here nice and protected by our Air Force. Anyway, back to the hull. So, what I've done is I've finished off the armour on the front hull, and the shaky camera is still slowly driving me insane, and, well, I realised just how small this turret is when you look at the whole hull as a whole. I was actually being a little bit nervous, thinking, but if this is this big and it's only such a weak turret, how am I going to fit all the turrets I want on? We are very easily going to fit the turrets I want on. So, the one problem with this turret, as is the case with many turrets, is that the turret segments will actually clip through the metal on the top, as you can see. It's quite a simple problem here, and of course there is a very simple answer. I could remove the metal where the... Oh, look how shaky this is! The metal where the actual turret is, the actual barrel is, and that could solve the problem. In fact, it would solve the problem. It would look a lot better. The problem is that that really opens up the actual barrels to being destroyed, which makes all sorts of problems in the future. And I am just looking, and I'm afraid I am all out of time for today. But I hope you've enjoyed, and give me suggestions for things you'd like to see on this battleship. So, plans are 2 side turrets similar to this with only 1 barrel, then the actual bridge will start being made, and that will hold the main cannon, which will be able to fire in a 180-degree arc in front of it, and of course left and right as it will, because of course 180 degrees, 90 degrees either way. And then we're probably going to have some small turrets on either side. I'm not sure about this just yet. We're going to try and stick away from missiles as much as possible. I'm also going to try and stick away from shields, which it sounds odd, I know, but I would like this to be more of a traditional ship. It's going to have very thick armor. At the moment, most of the armor is only 1 thick, although the front and the very back is 2 thick. I'm planning to make it at least 3 thick, even if that does involve using light alloy. So, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the episode, and of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. And next time, hopefully, there'll be some work done with this battleship, and I'll try and fix the shaky camera. Thank you, and goodbye. Before I forget, I have also named this flyer. The flyer from now on will be known as the Blight Interceptor. Although I'll just simply call it Blight right now. They will be the Blights of the Sky. The Blight of the Sky, in fact, because plural with Blight is weird. So, again, thank you for watching, and goodbye.